Well, good Wednesday afternoon, fellow photographers. My name is Jeff. I'm coming to you again with some, let's say, different tips and tricks for the Olympus system and something to manage your workflow. First off, I like to mention the use of the iPhone, which is filming me right now. I have an iPhone 14. I use it for editing, importation of photos off of my OM-1. On it I have Photoshop Express, LumaFusion for the video. But the good thing is when you're out in the field and you have all this basically lightweight equipment to carry around, you always have the phone in your pocket, okay? Which I use as a backup if I want something wide angle or standard as far as a camera is concerned. If I have, let's say this big guy on the camera, but usually I have my 40 to 150. So if I want something that's going to be less than, 80 to 300, I'll just use my iPhone as an example. But I do the uploading and editing, which I can do on the run just by using a little dongle, which you can put in the bottom of your iPhone with the lightning connector, put your SD card into that, and you can upload all the photos or delete the ones you want on the camera before you put the SD card into the reader, because it can be quite a time-consuming process depending on how many photos you have to put in the camera. But it comes in handy if you want to post something right away or send something, to somebody else, which of course you can do with the Olympus app as well, but those are only 2 megapixel images if you have that app, basically hooked up or aligned with your OM-1. And basically, it'll import the photos into the phone that way. But I like sending a little bit more high resolution. Now, it's not something I do all the time. Most of the time I'll come home, edit the photos out that I don't want, and then of course import the ones into the Photoshop Express and do my editing then. One mention about that, I used to shoot a lot in RAW, okay? And it does give you, more, I guess, not more pixels to work with, but more information to work with. There's the word I was looking for. And that's why a lot of people shoot in RAW. But again, a lot of those are done with the advantage of having a better type of system on a laptop or a desktop computer, which you have more ways to play with the photo itself. When you're using your iPhone or whatever phone you have in your pocket, you can do quite a bit of editing with the Photoshop Express. But I've come to find out that by shooting in that super fine JPEG on the OM-1, I can still, take out shadows and, pretty well manipulate the photo almost as much as I can with the RAW file. Now, one reason you want to think about that is there's an advantage to shooting in the JPEG other than, hopefully you have the right settings set up for the JPEG, because there's several, different things you can go into as far as the photo app on your OM-1 in order to, attain that photo that you might want on the outside. But again, you can always go to Photoshop Express. But let me go back to that JPEG point. On the lenses that have it, the LFN button I have set up on my lens in order to have the 2x digital zoom. So if I'm shooting with the 300, which is actually full frame equivalent 600, with the 2x digital, you're almost getting 1200 millimeters of zoom. Same as with the 40 to 150, has the button here too. And if I'm not mistaken, yes, there it is, right here on the 7 to 14. Now that's how I have those buttons set up. You can set up any button on the OM-1 if you want to have that feature. But the nice thing about it is, with a JPEG, it comes out that size when you're downloading the photo. If you're shooting in RAW, it gives you a border of what that image is going to look like. But you have to go in and get that and basically crop down. Or you can also, and this is something that you know, a lot of people say that the image, even when you do use the 2x zoom, still keeps a approximately 20 megapixel image, even when you have to, you know, crop in to get it. But it's something I like to have right out of the camera. It saves a lot of time as well. Now, one thing I do have is that when you're using the 7 to 14 millimeter lens, going on a different subject, you notice when you have it at the 7 millimeter mark, you see how much that lens pokes out from the built-in lens hood? Now, if you're carrying this around, this is something you want to keep in mind, is to turn it back to the 14, and that way it is more secluded inside the lens hood itself, and it's very hard for it to catch on anything or scrape against anything. But just keep that in mind if you are out and about with your 7 to 14. Don't leave it on the 7, because that is like almost like right at the edge of that lens hood. Just these two edges. If you hold it this way, yeah, you do have more coverage. But this is not going to protect it at all, these two sides, because it's bulging out from there, as you can see. So I always torque it back to 14. It's just something you have to keep in mind. But I just wanted to point that out to, you know, to somebody if they do have this lens. You want to keep that in mind, because you don't want that you don't want that piece of glass getting scraped. The one thing that I did get a comment about was, you know, I mentioned I'd been through most of the camera systems, you know, bodies, lenses, and whatever. And somebody said I was the camera store's dream. Well, probably. But maybe not the camera stores, but I did buy a lot of those items used. Okay? So the reason behind that, I knew I was trying to find something that I could be comfortable with as far as a system for my use. And I like to walk around a lot, you know, do urban wildlife photography, street photography, sports, whatever's around in my area. And I could have, you know, I did look at a lot of YouTube videos as far as people, you know, saying the pluses and minuses of this system or this lens or what have you. But I think until you use something yourself, you really can't go by what somebody else says and be trusted in that source. And again, just my own opinion. Now, you can go out and rent some, you know, like Lens Rental, various companies like that, you know, but it can get a little expensive, and it might not give you enough time in order to become familiar with the ins and outs of the system. But I like doing it myself, and that's basically how I ended up with this system. You know, these 4 lenses, 1.4 teleconverter, and the OM-1. And again, this was something I purchased used as well. And I'm glad I did it over the EM1X. And one of the big reasons is that viewfinder. I mean, just night and day. But, you know, you can watch a lot of, you know, OM and photographers' opinions, you know, regarding cameras and lenses and what have you. But like I say, until you have this in your hand and you look at the difference just through the viewfinder itself, but you see the speed, you know, the deeper grip on this versus, I guess it was the EM13 or EM3. I might have those designations a little bit backward there, but just a very, and this is something you can't, you know, somebody says, oh, yeah, the grip is nice, it fits my hand. Well, that's your hand. It's not my hand. And this one does fit my hand very well. And one reason I like it is it's got this little indentation on the back. Okay, my thumb just fits right in there. I can still scroll the reel. And the one thing you want to get used to, of course, is the camera body itself. Because it's, no matter how many bodies you've had, systems, manufacturers, whatever, you have to have the muscle memory to get used to the buttons and where they're located and what you have set up as custom buttons, which you can, of course, do a lot on the OM system. Now, I keep that under my menu as well as one of my shortcuts, is that, button system customization information, because I can just punch that in case I forget about something, and that'll bring up a little diagram showing, which button, has what, program to it. But like I say, until you have something in your hand, it's very difficult to go by somebody else's opinion. Just saying. One other thing that I came up as far as a custom button as well, because the 300, and what I'm doing is the what they call the manual clutch. Okay, this one is on the 40 to 150, and it's also on the 7 to 14. Now, unfortunately, on OM Systems lens that they put out, the 20 millimeter 1.4, they don't have one. Okay, it's just a focusing ring. Very nice lens, but it doesn't have that. So what I did on the OM-1, in order to have that manual override capability from the autofocusing, on this little 4-way switch back here, I put it on this little, I guess that would be the right side of the switch. We're looking at it backwards here. But when I press that in, the little manual indicator comes up in the viewfinder, and I know I'm shooting in manual. And I find that very handy to have. And again, you can program a lot of these buttons to do a various number of things, but I found that very helpful for me for that specific lens. Any time else, I'll just pull back on the focus ring here, and then of course I have the manual clutch, which is an excellent Olympus Zico or Zwick. How do you pronounce that? Zuko or Zico lens feature to have. I don't know how to pronounce that. Maybe somebody can, leave a comment and let me know what the correct pronunciation is of that. But, to each his own. I'm reading off of my script here, which I knew I had a lot of things I wanted to cover on here. That's pretty well about it. I want to keep this short and sweet, but one thing somebody mentioned too, and wanted to know what bag that I had. I think I showed it in my 1 or 2 videos ago. But this is the Tenba 12-liter backpack. You can see it's extremely small, okay, compared to most other backpacks out there. And I didn't know if everything would fit in this, but I have I don't know if it's a gift, whatever. I can visually look at something, then look at something online, or if I'm at a store, and I can pretty well tell if something is going to fit or not fit. Luckily for me, it fit. But you do have 2 expandable little pockets on each side, okay? Little clips up here, I guess if you're going to have a tripod or something. Thank God, because of the image stabilization, I don't think most people need tripods with this camera system anyway. In the front, you have a little storage here. I got little camera, doodads in there, little wiper cloth. I keep my 72 millimeter little polarizer, which I think I have on I do have it on the front of the 40 to 150. Because we had a nice sunny day out yesterday, so I was taking some nice pictures at the beach, and it really brought out the colors in the water. So that's just, a nice little, hefty thing here on the back. It's got a little opener on the top, little mesh thingy up here, storage. It even has a rain pouch, which I have inside. But the nice thing about it, it does have this, I guess I'll call it a belt, backpack belt, which goes around your front. And the reason you want to use that is because, and it comes in handy, it's a back opener, okay? So you can put all your stuff into here. Lenses, bodies. I got SD cards in these 2 little blue areas right here. So if you have the bag on your back you can just turn this bag around and it'll open up just like this in front of you. Okay, and you can get to all your stuff and then just zip it back up, twirl it around, and put your arms through the loops again, and then you're all set. Well, let me show you how everything fits. So, Mr. 300 goes right in there. Mr. 40 to 150 goes right beside it. Okay, we have our 7 to 14. Pops in right there. Let me get the rain bag back in this little container here. You'd think I was cheating if I was putting that in. Now we have our teleconverter, which I put right in here next to the 300. The 20 millimeter, which I have like a little coverage area here on the side. And of course, you can still put the body in as well. So let's get that in with the grip on the right side out. There we go. Oh, this is my little DJI mic setup, which I don't know if you can see it. This little thing right here. And this is really handy. You know, just amazing how they make everything fit in this. But I got my little DJI mic, which I'll carry around as well. And we can throw that in the back. But I'll just show you, that's how everything fits in the bag. Okay? And it's not that heavy. I mean, as you know, that's what Olympus is known for, is to have very effective, low weight carrying. Let me put that in there at the top. And we're all set. Boom. Ready to roll. But with that, I'll leave you fellow photographers. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you shortly. Bye-bye now.